Oh, come on. You call that a ghost story? That wasn't a ghost story. It wasn't scary at all. I might have frightened you. Maybe a couple of the other campers here. But that is not a ghost story. Matter of fact, I can. Alright. Gather round. Settle down. Let me tell you about the story of the Halloween Hunter. Yeah, the title's funny, I get it. See, this isn't a fictional story. My grandfather told me this story. Said it happened to him and some of his buddies when they were on an overnight fishing trip. Well, if you're all done making fun, can we get on? Thank you. Well, the Halloween Hunter, as told by my grandfather, was your average man, had a wife, kids, 9-to-5 job, very unassuming kind of fella. He liked to hunt and fish, but then one day, he snapped. It was around this time of the year. He went into work, sat at his desk, did his job, and then got up, ripped the monitor from his computer, and smashed it into the head of his boss. No one understood why. Not that it mattered. Not a soul made it out of that office building alive. But he wasn't done there. On his way home, or to wherever he was going, a group of campers on their way to the lake. Matter of fact, a lake not much unlike the zone we're sitting next to, cut him off and almost ran him off the road. So he decided to stalk them. And for 3 days, he waited and watched as this group of adults, ranging from the ages of about 20 to 25, again, not unlike us. As he watched them, he learned their patterns and figured out the best way to take them out. Well, if you'd stop interrupting me, I'll let you know how he does it. And no, it's not going to be some tropey horror movie type-esque thing. There may not be a final girl at the end of this story. So, shush up and let me finish. So after the 3 days, it was Halloween. It was dark. The young folks were all around a campfire, drinking beer and cracking jokes, just, being your run-of-the-mill young people. One of the guys got up, went to relieve himself, alone. Well, the Halloween Hunter slowly crept up behind him and drove a fishing hook pole straight through the back of his spine and into his heart. The man was dead before he even hit the ground. But one of the other guys at the campfire heard the slight scuffling sound. So he got up to investigate and wonder what was taking his friend so long. He happened upon the body and screamed out in horror. But before he could fully finish his scream, he was garroted by a length of fishing wire. His scream died in his throat, just as he did. Soon, the other few campers realized something was amiss. Two of their friends had not returned to the campfire. One of the girls who was in the group was getting very, very nervous. She tugged on her boyfriend's arm, telling him that she had a very bad feeling. Something was wrong. He brushed her off, told her it was nothing. Probably the other two guys were getting ready to play a prank on them. But she kept insisting that they were being watched. But he didn't care. So she scooted over to her friend, and the two of them just sat next to the fire right after convincing their boyfriends to go and investigate what was going on. The other two gentlemen walked off in a huff because they didn't want to. They stayed out for about 5 or so minutes and came back. And they were about to say, "Look, girls," there was nothing there. But my grandfather, being one of those gentlemen, noticed that the girls were missing. He ran back to his truck, grabbed his shotgun, and told his buddy that they needed to find the girls and the other two guys. So they started to walk through this small wooded area near the lake. What they didn't understand was why they didn't hear the girl scream or make a struggle sound. As they walked about, they didn't see or hear anything until there was a sharp sound like the snapping of a twig. My grandfather immediately turned around in the direction and unloaded his shotgun, hitting nothing but trees and empty air. But then when he turned back around, he saw his friend lashed to a tree with fishing line. His friend was still alive at the moment, but he wouldn't be for long, because the fishing line was cutting deep into his skin. My grandpa tried to cut him loose, but then was hit with some sort of blunt object to the back of his head. And the last thing he remembers before waking up the next morning was hearing the terrifying scream of the two women as the Halloween hunter dismembered them while they were still alive. Well, of course my grandpa lived. I'm here. Well, no, My grandpa said they never found him. No one knew who he was, really. I don't even know his name. Grandpa never told me that. All my grandpa said was the man just vanished after that night. Left my grandpa for dead and was never seen again. But every year, 2 or 3 campers, sometimes a small group of them, much like ours, just disappear around the holiday season of Halloween. Well, that was the story. It's about bedtime. What do y'all think? Alright, see yourself. I'm going to bed. Night.